Imagine you're sitting beside a campfire 40,000 years ago. The sun disappeared hours ago. Your tribe has fallen completely silent. The only sounds are crackling wood, distant insects, and the wind moving through dark trees. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Every new sunrise is another victory against hunger, predators, disease, and the unknown. Every decision matters because one mistake can erase an entire family forever. Now imagine one member of your tribe walking slowly out of the forest holding something no one has ever seen before. It isn't food. It isn't a weapon. It isn't fire. It's simply a strange plant with an unusual smell. Nobody knows whether touching it means life or death. Nobody knows whether it heals, poisons, or changes something even stranger. Yet instead of throwing it away, someone makes a choice that may have changed human history forever. But why? Why would any intelligent human risk everything on something completely unknown? That's the mystery we're exploring today. Because this story isn't really about smoking. It's about something much bigger. It's about the moment humans discovered that the world could change not only their bodies, but also their minds. Today, billions of people willingly consume coffee every morning, alcohol on weekends, nicotine during stressful moments, sugar when they're tired, and endless digital stimulation when they're bored. We constantly look for ways to change how we feel. Yet very few people ever stop and ask the obvious question. Where did this instinct begin? Did civilization create it? Or has it always been part of being human? Surprisingly, scientists believe our relationship with mind-altering substances reaches far deeper than modern history. Long before cities existed, before farming, before writing, before governments, our ancestors were already experts at surviving inside environments filled with thousands of unknown plants. Every single day they faced impossible decisions. Which berries are safe? Which roots cure pain? Which leaves stop infection? Which mushrooms kill? Which smells warn of danger? Every discovery came through observation, memory, and shared experience because there were no textbooks, no doctors, and no warning labels. Knowledge itself became the tribe's greatest survival tool. But among all those discoveries, some plants did something unexpected. They didn't simply feed the body. They changed perception itself. Today, we know certain plants naturally contain chemicals capable of affecting the human brain. Some increase alertness, some reduce pain, some calm anxiety, others alter awareness in remarkable ways. Archaeologists have found evidence that many ancient cultures eventually used psychoactive plants in rituals, healing practices, and ceremonies. But here's where the mystery begins. Nobody knows the exact first moment humans realized certain plants could change the way they experienced reality. Somewhere, sometime, one person had to become the first. Think about how terrifying that moment would have been. Imagine inhaling unfamiliar smoke. Imagine tasting an unknown leaf. Imagine feeling your heartbeat change, your senses sharpen, your thoughts shift in ways you've never experienced before. You wouldn't think, this is interesting. You might honestly believe you were dying. And perhaps that's exactly why everyone else in the tribe watched so carefully. Ancient humans didn't survive because they were fearless. They survived because they paid attention. If one person became sick after eating a plant, everyone remembered. If someone recovered from an injury after using a certain root, everyone remembered. Survival depended on memory, observation, and cooperation. Every mistake became a lesson shared across generations. Every success became part of culture itself. Modern researchers studying hunter-gatherer societies have discovered something fascinating. Indigenous communities often possess incredibly detailed knowledge of hundreds of plant species, understanding which heal, which nourish, and which should never be touched. This knowledge wasn't written down. It was carried inside stories, traditions, and daily life. That means the greatest library in prehistoric history wasn't made of books. It was made of people. Parents taught children. Elders taught hunters. Entire tribes became living databases long before writing ever existed. But then another question appears. If some plants created unusual experiences, why didn't humans simply avoid them forever? Why return? Why experiment again? Why share those discoveries instead of forgetting them? Scientists don't have one single answer, but evolutionary psychology offers several fascinating possibilities. Curiosity itself may have been one of humanity's greatest survival advantages. The individuals willing to carefully explore the unknown sometimes discovered new medicines, safer foods, better tools, and entirely new ways of adapting to difficult environments. Curiosity was dangerous, but refusing to explore could be just as dangerous. A tribe that never experimented might never discover the plants that eased pain, reduced fever, or helped injured members survive long enough to recover. Suddenly, exploring the unknown wasn't reckless. It became part of survival itself. And perhaps that's the real beginning of this story. Not addiction, not smoking, not intoxication. Curiosity. The same curiosity that pushed one ancient human toward an unfamiliar plant is the same curiosity that eventually pushed humanity across oceans, into laboratories, onto the moon, and beyond. But before curiosity transformed civilization, it first had to survive one mysterious night beside a prehistoric campfire. And what happened after that night may explain something about your own brain that most people never realize. So, what actually happened after that mysterious night? The honest answer is that nobody knows with certainty. Archaeology rarely preserves moments. It preserves clues, burned seeds, ancient pipes, plant residues, pollen, stone tools, tiny chemical traces left behind thousands of years ago. Scientists piece these fragments together like detectives solving a crime where almost all the evidence has disappeared. But those fragments reveal something remarkable. Across different continents and different time periods, humans repeatedly formed relationships with plants that affected the mind. That pattern appears again and again. Why? Imagine you're an ancient hunter who discovers that a certain leaf dulls pain after an injury. Suddenly that plant becomes valuable. Imagine another plant helps you stay awake during long nights protecting your family. That plant becomes valuable too. Imagine another creates vivid dreams or unusual sensations during important ceremonies. Whether those experiences were interpreted as spiritual, emotional, or simply mysterious, they could become part of tribal tradition. None of this happened overnight. It happened through thousands of years of observation, memory, and shared experience. The important thing isn't that humans found strange plants. The important thing is that humans remembered them. That's one of the greatest differences between our species and almost every other animal. We don't simply experience the world. We pass those experiences to the next generation. One discovery becomes one story becomes one tradition becomes culture. Culture became humanity's greatest survival technology. A sharp stone helped one hunter. A useful story helped every generation after. That's why anthropologists often describe culture as humanity's invisible superpower. Every lesson learned by one individual could survive long after that individual was gone. And this may explain something surprising about your own life. Your brain wasn't designed for office buildings, smartphones, supermarkets, or endless notifications. It was shaped inside small tribes where paying attention to unusual things could mean the difference between life and death. Your ancestors survived because they noticed patterns. They investigated unfamiliar sounds. They explored strange smells. They remembered unusual experiences. Curiosity wasn't a hobby. It was survival. Even today, your brain still rewards curiosity. Every time you solve a mystery, discover something unexpected, or learn a surprising fact, your brain releases chemicals that reinforce exploration. The same ancient wiring that encouraged hunter-gatherers to investigate the unknown now drives scientists to discover new medicines, explorers to cross oceans, inventors to create technology, and millions of people to click on stories that promise hidden knowledge. That's why this documentary probably caught your attention in the first place. Your brain wanted to know what happened that night. But ancient curiosity also has another side. The same reward systems that encouraged exploration can sometimes keep us chasing experiences long after they stop helping us. Today, companies compete for your attention using food, entertainment, advertising, and digital technology carefully designed to activate the same motivational systems that once helped our ancestors survive. Your Stone Age brain now lives in a world overflowing with artificial rewards. That's why understanding our evolutionary past matters. It reminds us that many modern behaviors didn't suddenly appear with civilization. They grew from instincts that once served an important purpose. Curiosity helped humans discover medicine. It also led people toward danger. Exploration built civilizations. It also carried risks. The goal was never to eliminate curiosity. The goal was learning how to guide it wisely. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson hidden inside this story. The night humans changed forever may not have been the night someone discovered a particular plant. It may have been the night one person chose to investigate the unknown instead of running away from it. That single decision represents something deeply human. Every major breakthrough in our history began with someone asking a dangerous question. What happens if I try this? What happens if I go there? What happens if everyone else is wrong? Sometimes those questions ended in failure. Sometimes they ended in tragedy. But sometimes they transformed the future of our species. Fire, agriculture, medicine, navigation, science. Every one of them started with curiosity overcoming fear. So when you think about that silent prehistoric campfire, don't imagine the beginning of smoking. Imagine the beginning of something much larger. Imagine the moment humanity realized the world held secrets waiting to be discovered. Because in many ways, that night never really ended. Every laboratory, every telescope, every hospital, every spacecraft, every scientific discovery is another person standing beside another metaphorical campfire, looking at something unknown and asking the same timeless question our ancestors once asked thousands of years ago. What happens if we dare to find out? And maybe that's what truly changed humanity forever. Not the plant, not the smoke, but the decision to keep exploring, even when the darkness was filled with uncertainty. The greatest force that ever shaped human history wasn't fear. It was curiosity, and that ancient instinct is still alive inside you today. If you found this video valuable, subscribe for more daily insights and educational content.